What's up guys? Just a really quick disclaimer. First of all, in this video I'm not going to go into too much detail just because it's like a really quick thing. If I went into too much detail, the video would be like an hour and a half long and I don't need that. And also, I am not a great drawer. I'm not a good artist. Don't come at me for that. This is just very basic stick figure type drawings. So yeah, please enjoy. What's up guys, welcome to a draw my life, or like at least me attempting to draw my life. As I mentioned before, I'm obviously not a good artist, so this is just me trying my very best to give you a rundown on what's happened in my almost 18 years. So we start off with mum and dad both being in the army, mum leaving when she was pregnant with me. So there is little me in mom's belly and my mom. Yeah, like I said, very basic, very bad drawings. And here's my dad. We're a happy little family. And then what happened? I was born in a hospital in Townsville. I don't remember the name of the hospital, but pretty sure it was like the only one or like the main one there. So yeah, here's me attempting to draw a hospital for you. But yeah, at the time it was just me and mum and dad was still in the army. But yeah, mum got out when she had me because it would have just been too hard to look after me and do what she was doing in there, but dad was still there. And then like a year and a half later, we moved to Newcastle down in New South Wales, where my sister was born. So here's mum again and Dakota in mum's belly. Yeah, so she was born in Newcastle. We lived there for about a year or two. Actually no, it's probably longer than that. We lived there for a little while. I don't remember if we moved between when we lived there and when my brother was born, but there's my mum and Dakota, my dad and me, and then I will move the paper soon. I'm really sorry, I didn't realize that this was being drawn off camera until I looked at my camera and where it was angled. But she was born in the hospital in Newcastle down there. I have no idea what hospital she was born in, but yeah, there's my equally as good drawing of a hospital. And then a few years later, like I said, I don't remember how many years later, but I think it would have been roughly 3 years later, we packed up. Here's my beautiful drawing of a car. We packed up and we moved to Mackay, which is up in North Queensland. It is very hot up there, and yeah, so we moved there, and that happened to be near where my grandparents lived. So that was very handy for mum and dad when they had to work and stuff. Our grandparents could just watch after us. So yeah, that was approximately 3 years later, 4 years after I was born, because at the time my brother was born, I was 4, maybe 4.5-ish. Yeah, so there's mum with Declan, and I had to think about what I was drawing for a minute because I was thinking about what had happened in my life more than what I was drawing. But yeah, there's those two, and then Dad. And little me, and also a little stick figure version of my sister. So yeah, like I said, I would have been about 4, Dakota would have been about 3.5-ish. No, she would have been 3. I'm just really bad at math, I'm sorry. But yeah, and then after that, we packed up and moved again. About 5 years later. Don't judge my car drawings either. But yeah, about 5 years later, we packed up and moved houses a couple times. When I was young and right before my brother was born, we got into a car crash with Mum. So it was my sister, my mum, and I, and obviously my brother, because my mum was pregnant with my brother at the time. And so I remember very, very, very clearly there was a police officer in a caravan, and he stopped and helped us because we'd hit a pothole and the car had flipped. So he got out of the caravan and helped us out, and his wife took my sister and I into their caravan because they were on holidays, and gave us some juice boxes or poppers, whatever you call them. And I also remember while we were in Mackay, it was after my brother was born though, I was in another car crash with my dad. We were at a roundabout and a car T-boned us. So that was another experience. But yeah, after that first car crash, my brother was born in one of the hospitals, maybe the only hospital in Mackay. So yeah, I don't remember anything about that, like at all. I don't remember a lot about when I was younger. For some reason, I really, really remember that. But yeah, while we were in Mackay, we stayed in the same house for about 5 years. And one of my strongest memories is when I was young and I had a loose tooth and I bit into a Vegemite sandwich and that tooth came out. And I was very, very excited, so I showed my mum. My grandparents were over at the time, so I ran down the stairs and showed them that my tooth had come out and told them the story about how I was eating my sandwich. Yeah, so that happened. I also remember my brother breaking his arm on our bunk beds there because he tried to jump from one to the other. But yeah, so we have a lot of stories from Mackay. And then, yeah, about 5 years after my brother was born, we moved houses into a completely different city. We packed up and drove the cars, both cars, because we had little Trappy, which was a little car. I don't remember what type or color or anything. Pretty sure it was white. And we also had a Champagne Range Rover or something. But yeah, we packed those up and we moved to Chinchilla, I believe, which is a really small town in the middle of nowhere. Still kind of North Queensland. But yeah, there was like no one there. We moved house. We didn't move house at all in Chinchilla. I'm pretty sure we stayed in the same house the whole time we were there, but I was really young. I don't remember how long we stayed there either, but yeah, a few years later we packed up again and we moved to a slightly bigger place, which is Gladstone, which is a few hours north of here. Yeah, and so we lived there for about 2 or 3 years, and in those 2 to 3 years we moved house 3 times. No, we moved house 2 times, but we lived in 3 different houses. So the reason we moved so much when we were younger is because Dad worked away a lot, and so we just kind of followed where he worked. So he was working in Townsville, and then he was working in Mackay, stuff like that. But yeah, when we were in Gladstone, we met some of Dad's friends who I'm pretty sure he worked with at one stage, Grant and Jane, and they are some really, really good family friends of ours now. We still see them when we go back there, and they now have 2 little kids of their own, Chloe and Archer, and they are very cute little kids, but we haven't seen them in a few years now, so we're gonna go back up eventually and catch up with them, and just, yeah, maybe by the time I'm 18. But yeah, we moved house a couple times. The first house we lived in was right across the road from the school we went to, and then the other 2 houses were a bit further away, and in the house we lived in the middle of the other 2, we met some friends. Their names were Katie, Bronte, and Hunter. Katie was my friend, Bronte was my sister's friend, and Hunter was Declan's friend. And they happened to live in the house that kind of connected to our house. There was a garden in the backyard with a space in between the bushes, so it was really easy to get to each other's houses. Obviously we had more friends, but there's too many to name. And then we moved to the Gold Coast, where in primary school I had a lot of friends, and by a lot I mean like there was maybe 4 or 5 people I was really good friends with, that I no longer talk to, just because we haven't seen each other in years. It's the same with all my friends from other places. But we may not talk, but like I have them on my social media and stuff. I still know what they're up to. And then I have my friends that I had when I started high school, and a lot of those I no longer talk to just because we drifted apart, had some arguments, we just didn't see eye to eye on the same things anymore, and so we split, and I no longer have any contact with them. And then I went to a different school a couple years ago, and we moved houses, and then so we moved twice since we've lived on the Gold Coast, and I met Tommy, which is still one of the best moments of my life that I can remember. I am very grateful to him. He's very supportive of everything I do, and I can't ever tell him how much I appreciate him. And then just in the last 2 years, I've made some new friends. There's Jennifer, there's Aliana, and there is also Leighton, who may look small in this drawing, but he's actually the tallest of the lot of us, so yeah. And they are some of my closest friends, and this year I have become a senior, so I graduate at the end of the year, and I am looking forward to it, but I'm also dreading it because obviously it means I start living in the real world. And yeah, so that's everything that has happened in my life so far. So here's just a quick little overview of everything, and that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. It means a lot to me when you guys watch to the end of these videos, so if you did make it, let me know what else you guys want to see from me, and I will try my best to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.